So the first was, what's your name?
Adriana.
Adriana. So you mentioned the first door signify what?
The first door is the eagle, where the sun comes out, knowledge.
And the second door?
Second door is the wolf, it's the woman, the water,
The wound.
the wound,
Yeah.
the womb. And the third door is the bear, the black side. It's where the bear goes into the cave, the healing realm. And the fourth is the buffalo, the white door, the strength, the wind,
So if you're in church,
the ancestors.
Guys, I'm alive, perfect, and I feel amazing. Welcome back to the show, and I'm excited to share this episode with you guys. And before I even dive into it, because I'm so excited for this episode, in fact, it's been a couple days now since I got back from Mexico. As you saw my last episode, I went there for a Ibogaine treatment, and boy, do I have a bunch of stuff to share with you guys. So before I even get into it, I have to read the disclaimer. You know, my team suggested I do this, so bear with me, follow along, and just listen up. Here we go. This video is for educational and storytelling purposes only. I am not a doctor, therapist, or medical professional, and nothing in this episode should be taken as medical advice, treatment, guidance, or encouragement to use any substance. Ibogaine and 5-MeO DMT are powerful psychoactive compounds that can carry serious physical and psychological risk, especially without proper medical screening and supervision. These substances are illegal and controlled in many countries, including the United States. If you are struggling with addiction, trauma, or mental health challenges, please consult a qualified medical or mental health professional. Always follow the laws of your jurisdiction and never attempt to self-minister any of these substances. So now that we got that out of the way, I want to start off with just, first of all, huge thank you to my boy Jason, who's the one that put me in contact with Vets, organization owned by Marcus and Amber Capone. If you've seen the Netflix series Waves of War, they are featured in this documentary that follows a couple veterans, special operators, Navy SEALs go through this process as a way to combat TBI, PTSD, and studies have shown that this stuff really works. So shout out to Ambio, Trevor, who is the founder of this company that produces the substance, ensures that the medical, everything's going well, has the houses in Mexico in which they treat not only people in addiction, but veterans, celebrities now. We've seen people like Conor McGregor attend one of the properties. In fact, the property we were supposed to be at, and I'm going to get into the story because it's actually pretty funny. The property that we were supposed to be at, that's the same one Conor McGregor went to. And it turns out that a lot of these LA celebrities are now going to. So yeah, Ambio, Vets, I cannot thank these guys enough for what they have done for me, for the veteran community. This stuff really works, guys. And I'm going to tell you that before I went into this, not only was I nervous, but I really questioned it. I was sort of like in the edge of having tried everything possible. And this was like the last straw. For me, this was like the Hail Mary to see if this would actually change anything based on everything I have been through, not only through PTSD and my addiction, but now just starting something new. And although I have been putting in the work for the last 3 years with my weight loss journey and seeking spiritual guidance, mindset, faith, and different approach and mentors, there's just something missing there. And boy, when I tell you this was it, I mean, this was it. So I have my notes with me because I want to make sure I don't chop this up and mess everything up. But let's get right into it, because this story, first of all, starts off pretty crazy. And, you know, I got to go with a group of other veterans who I absolutely love now and adore. The one thing about the veteran community is that once we get together, there's so much stuff that brings us, bonds us, not just the fact that we serve, but in the pain, the traumas we go through, you know, the stuff that we see. but even the walks of life, the struggles outside of the military, marriages, kids, life, business, everything. And it's funny that when we all get together and we communicate this, it sort of seems to be like a trend within the veteran community. And as easy as it might sound to say, well, hey, that's an easy fix. You could just do this therapy. It's not always the case. And it's a lot of times more harder than said because the way we are wired. So this is why I'm a very advocate for this type of program because it does open up something a lot different. So, this story starts off last Monday. In fact, I'm recording this on Monday. Today is December the 8th, literally 8 days ago, because the first I set en route to TJ. My wife, the kids, everybody was excited to go drop me off. We get in our car. Early morning, I'm supposed to be at the Sheraton in Corona by 9:30 was the pickup time. We get there a little bit early. I say goodbye to my kids, to my wife. I'm still feeling kind of nervous. And the whole route there, to be quite honest, because I had a lot of people, by the way, thank you for everybody that messaged me, not only privately, but through my email after they saw my last podcast regarding my trip to Mexico. And some people questioned it. Some people asked if it's something that would work, if not. So I'm not gonna lie, in the back of my head, there was a lot of stuff that was going on, whether, if I was making the right choice. I was scared that my expectation might have been too much from what I would receive back from it. So as you could imagine, it was like nervousness, fear. I'm just trying to process everything. But at the same time, like I mentioned, I was like at that last straw. I'm like, man, this has to work. There's really no other option, right? And when I walk in and I drop off, it's funny because the first person I see, and by the way, I want to protect everybody's identity, personal space. So I gave everybody just different names, misters, all veterans. But I walked in and there's one individual, guy looks like John Rambo, seriously, like stud, pretty well built. You can straight out tell he was special forces. And we're going to call him Mr. Dog. And he has his glasses on. He has a backpack, tripod. It looks like a, full rucksack standing there, hiding behind what looks like a tactical setup behind a palm tree. And he's on his phone. And I said, this guy has to be a vet. This guy definitely is probably one of ours. I'm just going to walk by him because he looks busy. And I sat a couple seats from him. And shortly after, we had a lot of the other vets show up and sort of introduce themselves. So we had Mr. B, who was a Navy pilot. We had Mr. F. I call him Miami because the guy was special forces, but he had that, Miami swag, the Rico Suave, pretty dope guy. Mr. R, your typical, Army serving individual. And then we had Mr. B, which was, Mr. B was the Marine. I'm sorry. Mr. M was like Matthew McConaughey. He was the pilot, Navy pilot, had to talk like him, the swag, everything. Cool dude. I mean, the guy was just a celebrity star. Somehow ended up in the Army. Should have been Matthew McConaughey's double. And then Mr. Brad, just your typical Marine. I mean, this guy, you can spot him from a mile. You're like, this guy has to be a Marine, which I love that. He ended up being my neighbor in my room when we got to the house. So off the bat, we all introduced ourselves. Pretty cool crew. We're talking. And yeah, we get a van that shows up with Mexican plates. Just a couple minutes after we introduce ourselves, I'm finishing up some last minute emails. But the funny thing is that once we see this van, it does not look nothing like what we were seeing in the film. I mean, in the film, you see these guys getting picked up on SUVs, nice setup, everything. And we do not have the nicest van show up. Mexican plates. I'm pretty sure the plate was kind of crooked in the front. One of the doors is not functioning right, so we're kind of struggling. Everybody puts their pack in the back, and when you have a bunch of military vets and you're going to put them on a suspicious looking vehicle with a Mexican driver, it's like your antennas start going off, right? So everybody's like on red alert. They get better, counter attack positions inside the van, and then I get thrown in the front with the driver. So I was kind of like, though, well, if anything happens, we're going to find out if something happens to JP and then we can bail out type thing. And we get in there, I'm having a conversation with the driver, ends up being a really cool guy. Within a couple minutes, we're crossing the border, heading over Tijuana, passing through immigration. Everything goes great. No traffic, no stop, which I often go a lot to Mexico, and it's always a 50-50 time that we get pulled out to the side by Mexican customs. Nothing happened. It's just straight right away, no issues, go in. We quickly get on the Mexican toll road, headed to Playas de Tijuana, which is not that far from the border, maybe another 20-25 minutes. And we pull up to this neighborhood. The neighborhood is definitely nothing like what I saw in the movie, so my expectations of what I was gonna end up staying at were really high, and so far everything is kind of like not adding up. So now, as you can imagine, my anxiety's kicking in. I'm really contemplating everything. I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? This is definitely not what I was expected. What did I sign up for? Did I sign up for the right program? So now I'm like questioning everything. We pull up to this house. It's a pretty decent neighborhood. There was a park. We turn. And if you've ever been to Mexico, it's like you get off the smell, everything. You just feel it. You know you're in Mexico. The fumes of the cars, the people out loud, there's people outside walking. You have activities on the street, all this stuff, the noise, the honking. And then we turn into this neighborhood, and there's this like nice, looking house. And I'm like, man, first of all, from the outside, it looks small. So I'm thinking, man, that looks like a very small house for all of us. Like, are we all gonna be sharing rooms? How's this gonna work? So again, like all this stuff just getting in my head. I'm not even focused on what the process is gonna be like. I'm already like, man, like this is not what I expected it to be. And we park, we start getting our stuff out of the vehicle, and we see a gentleman come out. Gentleman's name is Mark Slider. The guy was a Navy fighter jet pilot. Really cool dude. I call him Top Gun because, he had the swag, everything like Top Gun. And although he hates Top Gun and says that never happened, and I believe him because he has some pretty cool stories, walks out, and he's followed by Zach. Zach is not a veteran, but has been through the program, big advocate for the program, pretty dope dude. In fact, there's an old picture of me in a suit, and I found a picture of him, and I'm going to put it up here. It's like we were twin brothers at some point. But Zach, man, love Zach to death. The dude's legit, pretty cool guy. Took me out for a walk after my procedure, which I really enjoyed and appreciated. I definitely needed the fresh air, so I owe him for that. But we walk in, they introduced us. They introduced themselves. They're going to be the hosts, the ones that are going to guide us through the whole week while we're there. Kind of like be our guidance through this whole process. Once we walked into the property, it's a really nice house. You walk in, had the high ceilings, the stairs, really nice living room, chandelier. Nice pool in the back. Not that we even had time to get in the pool, but pool, jacuzzi. Not sure if it was heated or not, never asked. Turned out that we all had our own rooms, which was also pretty cool. So the house ended up being 100% dope. And as we walked in, the first thing they did was introduce us to the staff. This is everybody that was going to be taking care of us throughout the whole week, which it included a chef, a sous chef, house hostess, cleaning, and a handful of medical staff. And this, by the way, blew me away because I was like, wow, this is like now legit. This is definitely high tier, well kept, well organized, definitely looking out for the patient to ensure that everybody's good to go, the food, everything. So, I was now excited, very excited. Still in the back of my head, I'm questioning the process and all this stuff and wondering if I made the right choice, the right decision. In fact, I started even doubting it, wondering if this was just maybe something else that, was being thrown out there, and I was just going to go out there and be a guinea pig and sort of see if like, man, is this something that even was worth it? Could I have done something else? So, you start having those little demons in the back of your head, kind of knocking in there, playing with you. And so, I just, I kept on going with the flow. We put our stuff away. We got our rooms assigned. And The next thing was going to be our medical intake. So we went through the whole medical intake process, which was pretty dope. You sit down with a doctor, they do a full intake screening, run your pressure, your all your vitals, everything, and then we get our IVs installed. So throughout the whole day, we will have an IV injected in our forearm. This is not only to continue to provide medicine, but if there's any emergencies or anything, you have an IV already in you. So after the whole process, it was pretty cool. Lunch was amazing. So shout out to Ociel and Betty. Absolutely, I love them. They became really good friends of mine. And you know me, I love my food. I love my pastries. So anytime I had an opportunity to hang out with them and get there early, I mean, they always took care of me and gave me a little extra. Or towards the end, even did arroz con leche for me, which I adore and appreciate them a lot. So the night started off, Monday started off pretty good. We get there, we settled in, got our intakes taken care of. We had food, which was amazing. Steak, salad, and an amazing soup with a mozzarella, which I can't even explain what it was, but I mean, it was just delicious. And for dinner, we had fish that day. Every meal was like a 3-course meal, which was absolutely amazing. There's no complaint. Everything was organic. Your waters, we had, obviously we call them in Spanish, aguas frescas. So you would have like your chata, tamarindo, mango, freshly done juices. None of this stuff was like stuff that they just, puree and got with artificial stuff. So I mean, it was top tier, well taken care of. And yeah, we all got to talk more. We got to know each other a little bit more, and everything was pretty good for the first day. Checked off. I still had my phone, so I was able to call home. I checked in with the family, speak with my wife, with my kids, and went to sleep. And I would say it was probably one of the best sleeps I ever had. That bed was definitely comfortable. You have assistance all night. You get up in the middle of the night if you want. The kitchen is open. I mean, it's like a top tier dope house. And come Tuesday is where everything starts getting interesting, because Tuesday is the medicine day. And for you guys that don't know, and before I get here, I guess I'll continue and then I'll tap into it. Every day is structure based on what's going to happen. So Monday being the intake day, it's pretty more chill, relax. And then come Tuesday, now we start stepping it up, because obviously it's medicine day. So it does start with Monday we ended up going to it's called Tamazcal, which is a sweat lodge. And the sweat lodge is done traditionally the old school way, the way you would do it in the indigenous people, the Mayan, the Aztecs. This is something that has been done for quite some time. There's so many different meanings throughout a sweat lodge, kind of like a more intense sauna, but with different rituals and the way it's conducted. The hut is made of, it kind of looks like a big pizza hut, depending on where you go. So Monday after we arrived, we checked in and all that. Our first trip was to the Temazcal. Now, this was also an interesting part, because if you ever seen Lincoln Lawyer or Sicario, where we end up going to this property, sort of looks like one of those houses. And when we first got there, the driver pulls up, closes the door, leaves us there while he goes and communicates with the people. So again, it's one of those scenarios where you have a bunch of veterans, operators, special forces, combat vets, and you're leaving them in a room in an area where, it really reminds us of different, scenarios in movies where things hit the fan, and, so it's like our antennas are going off. And we're sitting there, you hear dog barking and all this stuff. And this is at a house, by the way. And so I'm like, man, what's going on? And the guy comes out and, all right, you guys can get off now. It's kind of like a trade of sort that happened. Like, here's the money. Here you go. Now you get 5 Americans. Go ahead, do what you want with them, right? And they open the gate. There's dogs there. They put the dogs away. And the gentleman says, go all the way to the back and sit there. And we go all the way to the back. We pass through this driveway. We get to like this picnic sitting area. and we sit there, and it's in the back of somebody's house. So it's like, you're in somebody's backyard. There's dirt. You have chickens in the background, dogs barking, and you have this whole view of Tijuana from one side, and we're just sitting there on this picnic table looking. This lady comes out, introduces herself. She says she's going to be doing the ceremony, and we see this gentleman putting a hut together towards the back end of the backyard, and that's where we're gonna get in. It's dirt on the bottom. You have different lava stones that have been burning in this fire pit that you can clearly see there. And once we all get prepared, we all get on, swim shorts. We get in there. They do this whole ceremony to cleanse you, ensure that you're going in there pure. You get in there, you sit down. They explain to you what's going to happen. There's 4 doors. Every time the door opens and closes, which is considered a door, the temperature rises. And normally, from what I remember, it seems like to be 2 songs would be sang. And after those 2 songs are sang, that's when they would open the door, and then you get like a little breather. But really what she's doing is she's calling for more stones to come in so she could pour in the middle. And what happens is, when those stones are in the middle, they get the water, and it's pitch black, by the way. Once they close the door, it's pitch black. I don't know how she does it, but she has this bucket with this little scooper thing, and she gets the water and pours it over the stone, and the steam just like starts going crazy, and the temperature just rises. So for the first door, it wasn't as hot. I remember it felt just like, your regular gym sauna, maybe 120, maybe 100 degrees. It wasn't even that crazy. She opens the door and asks, how's everybody's doing? All of us said, yeah, that was pretty good. She calls Robert Medicina, basically means more medicine. She's referring to the rocks. She picks up the rocks with deer antlers, by the way, because the rocks are hot. She picks them up, puts them in the pit next to all the other ones, and then we'll request a new bucket of water that has different herbs in the water, and we'll close the door, and they'll start singing, and then you just hear the whooshing and the evaporating of that water once it hits, and it just starts getting hotter and hotter. I think by the time it got to the 4th door, it was probably closer to like 180 or maybe even 200 degrees. It was hot. At one point, I'm like not even breathing from my nose anymore. I'm just trying to just go from my mouth. And they're singing music. I believe I'm saying it's probably like 2 songs. After 2 songs, then they'll open it. Finally, we conclude the whole 4 doors. All of us were able to stay in. We get out. We're greeted with amazing fresh fruit, which was the best tasting fruit ever. We had cantaloupe. We had this weird orange that seemed to be like a hybrid with orange and lemon, and they had natural sea salt, which you sprinkle on top. It was just delicious. And after that experience, your taste buds, everything are so just like insane that it just tasted great. So we took a picture of it, and I'm going to post it up here with the main host that did it and her husband, Robert. And it was such a great experience. That was actually very dope and refreshing, and it felt good, and the guys all had a great time, and we packed everything up, and that's when we head home and had our dinner, and then had our IVs put in, and then we went to sleep. So come Tuesday morning, it was going to be a busy day because this was a day of the medicine. We got up, we had French toast. I remember that French toast was amazing. After French toast, everybody started preparing for what was going to be the day. We had a couple stuff lined up to also include massages, and it seemed to be like a 45-minute massage, which was pretty dope. The massage was meant to sort of relax you, get the body ready, get the mind ready, everything, as obviously we're going to have a long day. So we ate. Normally after lunch, you don't eat nothing no more. So we fast from lunch all the way to the following day. This is to avoid any food or any liquids coming out during the medicine portion of this journey, which is with Ibogaine. As you know, it could affect people differently. And if you're purging or throwing up, and you have actual food or stuff inside, then that could get pretty messy. So that's why you fast. And you're being heavy on IVs to help you with all that stuff. So throughout the whole day, I'm not gonna lie, this is really where I was starting to get a lot of mixed emotions. Um, just really that whole contemplation of, man, what is this gonna feel like? But at the same time, reminding myself of why I came here and being open about it. And I continue journal, and I wrote some stuff during that process, and it was kind of more of a reflection, to be quite honest, because you know, it was one of those things where you know, you're open to exploring something new, but you're questioning, you know, your decision in regards to medically, is this going to be the right choice? It's going to affect me. What if it doesn't work, right? And then again, going back to that expectation of, man, if the expectation is not there and it doesn't work, what's going to happen? And one thing that they brought up and Mark said is, don't worry about the expectations. Stop giving yourself expectations. If anything, just let the medicine do the work. And and I started to understand that and sort of put that in, and you know, focus on just, you know, letting it be, trust the process. And you know, one good point that Zach brought after my Ibogaine experience, when I was, you know, fearful to do the next thing, is he says, well, three things are going to happen. One, if it goes bad, you have gone through bad things before and made it out, so you're going to be fine. Two, if it goes good, then you're going to be like, damn, okay, that was worth it. But if you don't go with it and you don't do it, there's always going to be that what if. And so, you know, I started just, you know, accepting it, going for it, and kept on going back to the reason of why I went there, and went through my journal. And we had to do something called a burn sheet. On a burn sheet is you write everything you're ready to let go, and we were going to have a fire. On that fire, this is where that burn sheet lets go. Um, so, you know, in preparation to this, we did breath work. After the breath work, we did the massage, and I'm going over my notes, guys, so I make sure I don't forget anything, any details. We watched a documentary about Ibogaine experience, and for you guys that don't know, Ibogaine, and I'm gonna give you the definition, is a natural occurring psychoactive alkaloid delivered from the root bark of the Tambernati iboga shrub, native to Central Africa. Interacts with multiple receptor systems in the brain, including NMDA, kappa opioid, sigma, and serotonin transporters, producing both psychedelic and neurogenerative effects. Used for interrupting opioid, alcohol, stimulant addiction patterns, rapid withdrawal reduction, neuroelastic reset, psychospiritual exploration, trauma. Ibogaine does not cure addiction, but is known for giving people a destructive, addictive cycle and window of clarity, often called a reset. Now, you guys often hear me talk about reset, and this is why when I first studied and read, and I've been studying Ibogaine for, like, I would say about a year now. And now that it's becoming more mainstream with, you know, obviously Netflix videos, documentaries, Sean Ryan, Joe Rogan talking about it, it's gotten a lot more press attention. But from the studies that I have seen and read, most people with traumatic brain injury, PTSD, addictions have had a huge reset, a reset that's unexplained. And most of them have said that it's something that words cannot describe, but the feeling is no longer there. And with PTSD, or from people with certain other issues, it's like if it completely wiped it off. It's crazy, right? So this is why it was also like the skeptical part of it, where, man, is this really real? What if it's not? You know, I didn't want to put my hopes too high on it. So, you know, as I'm preparing for all this and doing the breath work and the massage and going through my list and my journal, I'm thinking, okay, well, we're gonna see how this goes, right? And to fast forward, the time finally came. We had my last IV around 6 o'clock, which we also turned in our phones, because the last thing they want is for you to be under medicine and accidentally butt dial somebody or drunk dial somebody. And not that you're going to be drunk, but you're just not going to be in your right state of mind. And maybe calling somebody that you shouldn't be calling and saying something you don't want to be saying. So, they're gonna remove everything. I remember talking to everybody. Everybody was excited. Everybody was looking forward to this experience. I don't think there was nobody in our group that was probably as scared and nervous as I was, from what I could see. Everybody was excited. Everybody just wanted to get it over with. And so after the IV, we went to the burn pit. And when we got to the burn pit, the fireplace, we all got our burn sheets. We all got together, and this was a very dope feeling. It was pretty cool because you have all our vets there, and obviously now we have some sort of a relationship, and we all have spoken. I got to meet a lot of the guys in more details, speak about their families, stuff they do, stuff that they went through, and just having that bonding experience was very special, and it actually made me feel even more better knowing that I'm doing this with a bunch of brothers that have been through the same stuff that I have been through, are dealing with some of the same things that I've been dealing with, and that we're all looking for that same outcome. So that felt really good. And as we all said some words, we grabbed our piece of paper, threw it in the fire pit, and out came the nurses with our first pill. And funny enough, the pill is red. And the first thing she said is, "There will be no blue pill today. You are taking a red pill." And I thought that was hilarious. And we take the red pill. And the way it works is you take your first pill, Ibogaine, and within 45 minutes, you're going to get administered your second dose. And then after that, 15 minutes, you'll get administered, I believe it's another dose, but this one is with honey, and it's supposed to hit you even harder at that point. You do have an option of a booster after that if for some reason nothing works. There are rare occasions that some individuals will absolutely feel nothing. It does happen, but normally they say that by the second pill, you're going to start feeling something. So we took the pill at 8 p.m. By 10 p.m., everybody should be at the room. There's a designated room where the treatment happens. Everybody has a heart monitor, nurses in standby, paramedic, EMD, and 2 doctors on standby, plus the facilitators monitoring everybody. So this is like fully 100% medically monitored. So by 10, everybody has to be there. And 8 o'clock, take our pill. By 9, there's a couple that decided to go upstairs already. I'm assuming they were probably feeling something. By the end of that, I think it was me and Mr. M only that were left. And we started kind of thinking like, man, are we going to be that rare occasion of individuals that just don't feel nothing? Because that's going to suck. I did not come all this way, go through all this, and then absolutely just not get nothing, right? And we sat there, we spoke until the doctor came and got us closer to 10 and basically said, "Hey, man, like, you guys got to come up now." And I remember us joking around saying like, "Well, we don't feel nothing." And we got upstairs, and the first thing you do, and this is a very dope sort of a way to get yourself into it, is each one of our beds had a mirror in the front. And in the mirror, we had these. Now, when I first saw this, because they gave me this as a gift, I was having flashbacks, and you guys are going to find out now why. So you have a set of blindfolds. You have this, and you're able to do an altar in front of your mirror of anything that you feel is worth it. Like, what was your reason for coming? You put your family, your questions, everything. Ibogaine, the medicine, will talk to you. And I'm going to get to that here in a minute. And as crazy as it might sound, this is like the most powerful thing that I think I've ever experienced. And my experience, of course, is going to be different than everybody's experience, because I feel that I probably had the worst experience in that whole group out of everybody. And then we had one other individual that absolutely just nothing happened. So you're in front of the mirror and they got music playing in the background. You're doing this while staring at the mirror. The meaning of this is you looking at yourself and preparing yourself for what's to come, saying goodbye to that ego, erasing everything that's in front of you. This is like your last goodbye. This is you looking at yourself, addressing yourself, and basically prepared to let go. So we're shaking, you're looking, and slowly by slowly, you see individuals just lay back down, lay back down, lay back down. And I'm looking and I'm thinking like, man, I don't feel nothing. This is probably not gonna work. And, you know, starting, they got the music playing in the back. The room is perfectly temperature. You know, I'm not tired, I'm anxious. Now I'm getting nervous. Is this gonna work? So I'm still, you know, shaking. I'm looking in the mirror, and then I get into deep thought. Then I start really thinking like, man, you know what, man? Well, maybe it's because I'm hesitating too much, right? Maybe it's me just not fully, you know, accepting this. Let me change that and let me just accept it. And I started having a conversation with myself as I was shaking. Man, I'm getting goosebumps right now because, I mean, this was, I mean, I was scared to death after this. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's whoa. All right, I'm shaking. I'm looking at myself and I start having this conversation and I'm going deep, talking to myself, and I'm putting everything out there and I'm preparing myself. I'm looking at myself and letting myself know that, one, it's okay to let go, and two, it's okay to accept what's coming, because it's gonna be good for us. And it's going to be something that's not only going to help me, but also my family, erase some of the traumas, the issues, everything. And, you know, I'm talking to myself, I'm looking deeply. I mean, I'm speaking to my soul at this point. And right when I said that, I just got this feeling to lay down. And I lay down. I put my blindfolds on. And the funny thing is that now I'm contemplating if I want to go pee or not. And it's the worst thing ever, because the nurses tell you before all this happening that, hey, if you want to go to the bathroom, if you got to pee, we'll walk you over there, because you won't be able to walk. You're going to shake. You're going to have crazy chills. You might have vertigo. So we're going to help you. Whether it's number one, number two, we see this every day. We got you. So my biggest thing in the back of my head now, the minute I lay down, is, man, if this thing kicks in and I got to pee, that's going to be difficult. But God forbid I got to go number two. Like, oh my God, this is going to be bad, because vertigo, going number two, and then they got to clean me. Like, I do not want to be that one guy that, hey, remember that one guy that just went all over the place? And so now this starts just coming through my head. And one of the things that I always struggle with was that the doubts, the second guessing, the not fully being confident. And this was a perfect example of that. And sort of anxiety started kicking in, because I was really questioning this thing. I'm like, man, dude, if this happens, this is going to be bad. I mean, So I'm going through this through my head. And now I'm thinking like, dude, it's only like 10:30 and I still got 12 hours of this. And yes, you heard that right. The medicine will hit you hard for 12 hours. So we're doing this till like 10 a.m. the next day. And so I'm thinking, what the hell? So I said, maybe I do got to pee. So you sit up, and the way it works is you sit up, you raise your hand, they're going to come and they get you up to bed. And then, and the bed is just a mattress on the floor. So you don't have like a frame or anything that has you up. You're in the mattress on the floor. They come, they guide you up, and then they walk you to the bathroom. So I raise my hand. They come, they get me up. The minute I start peeing, and by the way, you have to pee sitting down, because there's no way you could do it. By then I started feeling something. My hands were shaking, and I was just like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. So you have to sit down, you pee that way, you get up, and then they'll help you back out. Well, the minute I sit down, I start purging. And I start purging crazy. I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm just going to, throw out my guts. and it starts hitting me hard. It just feels like, I mean, it just came so hard, and it feels like the worst hangover ever. Constant, like with everything that comes with a hangover, but you're present. You're feeling everything. You're still good. It's hitting you. And once I'm finished peeing and they get me up and now they give me a bucket and I'm like, and you're purging. And remember, you've been fasting, so there's nothing coming out. You're just like, blah, blah. And you get to the mattress. I lay down. The minute I lay down, well, hold on, because you are going on a roller coaster ride. And this is what the medicine does. Ibogaine will actually go deep into your subconscious mind in a way that you have no freaking idea. I mean, I was seeing stuff come up that I didn't even know were possible, that existed, certain patterns, feelings, and every time these patterns and feelings came up, I would have to purge, throw up. And I became into like a rhythm. It was crazy because I even heard one of the nurses say, sigue haciendo lo mismo. It's like he's doing the same thing. It was repetitive, and it was the same thing, which was lay down, I'm about to purge, reach to the side, get the bucket, get up, purge for like a good 1 to 2 minutes, put the bucket on the side, get my hand to the left, left to the right, go back down. I would stop shaking, everything will feel normal, put my heads down, and then like it was like a roller coaster, like everything just hitting me, like the flashes. I would see everything. I mean, I can't even explain it. I literally thought I was gonna die. And the worst part is that every time I wanted to call it quits, like I would go through all that, then I'd be like, oh my God, throw up, get back up, boom, same thing again. And I'm there, and they said, like, if you need help or anything, raise your hand. I wanted to raise my hand so bad to call quits. I wanted to be like, get me off of this. Like, that's it. Like, I can't. Every time I would say that, it's like the medicine would throw me back and be like, nope, this is what you wanted. This is what you came for. Well, let's go for a ride. And bam, again, like, blah. And I literally felt like my chest was open apart. My subconscious mind was just teared apart completely. And everything that I had tucked away back there, everything that was just pushed out that I didn't want to face, I didn't want to talk about, feelings, doubts, everything, I just completely let all that out. And the next thing I know, it was 10 a.m. It was like time travel through time. The next thing I know, I just hear, okay, we're here for your IVs. And I was just like, what the hell? And the most craziest thing is that some of the images that I saw through this process, and you got to remember that this is stuff that is still going to continue to go on. It's still going to, you're still going to have to work on. Integration is a big thing. But I went in there with a list of things that I wanted to specifically get answers for, right? And we wrote these down. What's crazy is that a lot of the things that came up, a lot of the things that revealed to me that I had to go through were some things that I didn't even write. For example, one of them was my marriage. And, I had always just wondered if I had made the right choice. And I had always asked myself, man, am I doing the right thing? Am I the right husband? Just more questioning of my selfishness and things that I have done wrong. And sort of putting myself in the position of maybe I don't deserve this. It was a very weird situation, but I did not even put that on my question list. I did not put that as I seek answers to find out if my marriage is right. I seek answers to find out if I'm doing the right thing. I didn't. That was something that I had a while back ago, obviously with, arguments with situations with my son or things like that. I always questioned it. I always wondered if my wife truly loved me and was sync with me, all this stuff. But it was put behind. It was something that I didn't want in there. And what's crazy is that when all this purging was happening and I'm feeling like I'm dying and I'm feeling like, man, that's it. I'm dying. This is the end. Like, there's no way I can make it out of this, because that's how bad it felt. I remember just seeing my wife. And when I saw my wife, everything stopped. the purging stopped, the pain stopped, everything. And man, there was such a relief. And once I saw her, then I saw my son, then I saw my daughter, and then I saw my twins. And that's when there was like this shine of lightning, this just relief, this sort of like moment. And I remember feeling that and doing that big breath and letting everything go. And that's when they said, all right, guys, we have the IV coming. And it was such a powerful moment because I realized, man, you know, I've been questioning certain things that in reality have been my pillar, have been my strongest point, have been the fundamentals for me to continue doing the things that I do and living the way I have because of people like my wife, like my kids, my family. I've been blessed, and I always took that for granted. And that was something so impactful and powerful. One of the other things that I had a vision on, and I've been studying it later, is, and I have gotten this vision before, is sort of like a clockwork, sort of mechanical in the back end, with this sort of toy, like one of those toy horses with the little swing in the bottom, but it was all mechanical, everything mechanical. And when I had my stem cell, I had to get ketamine done. And this is an image that I saw during ketamine. And I saw this again, and it looked so like clear, like super HD 8K. And I remember seeing this, and I'm like, why does this come up? Like, what is it? And I've been doing a lot of work on it. It turns out that the meaning, when you start seeing mechanical things like that, is your awareness to the mechanical system of your brain, to yourself, that you're working on something and that you always been on repeat. The clockwork, the clicking of that mechanical system means that you always been on the same constant rotation. But then now that you are seeing that it can be changed, that it's only mechanical, but yet it could be adjusted. And in order to make those adjustments, you have to be willing to do it. And the two times that I have seen this and come up has always been through situations where, you know, I've been in distress or questioning certain things. And for this to come up during this particular episode, and I remember once I saw that, I started purging again and throwing up. And again, it's every time that I threw up, every time that I purged, it was when I had situations like that come up where I have questioned something. And one of those questions was like the fact that I always felt that I wasn't worthy. I wasn't enough. I didn't have the confidence. And it had been a repetitive situation and a mindset that it's basically telling me, hey, look, you've been on this auto this whole time, but in reality, look at this. Look at the dynamic of all this. You could change this. And I started throwing up again and throwing up again. Another one in particular that I thought was very powerful was the eyes. I saw 4 eyes, 4 individuals looking down at what it seemed like all of us on our stomachs and our backs open and our spines visible, and white people dressed in white working on us. And I remember seeing that, and it scared the hell out of me at first because it looked so realistic. And I'm looking at it, and I can see down, I can see myself, and I can see the shadow of the other people. And we're in our stomachs, upside down, not upside down, but on our stomachs, laying on our stomachs, and our backs open. And these individuals are working on me, on my back. And there's 2 individuals, so 4 eyes looking down, blue eyes, colors, and they're moving as they're looking down. And I start focusing into one of them. And when I focus into one of them, it looks at me. And when it looks at me, it scared the living crap out of me. I remember that when I saw that, again, I got up and started throwing up, rah, rah. So I started looking into the meaning of what it means. And one of the definitions talks about the spine being the core of your body, where it runs the majority of your nerves and everything. So it identifies as you being aware of work being done. The eyes represents you visualizing into your ego and understanding that your ego is being adjusted and changed, in some places completely killed, right? This is what the medicine does to you. So it goes deep into certain things that you have inside you internally that you might not even realize you need help on. And this is one way to completely get it off. So there's a lot more stuff. I'm going to keep it short. Those were the biggest ones that I take away. But the next day, well, that following day, because all of Tuesday night, you're stuck in this whole situation. The next day, 10 a.m., you Obviously, they wake you up, they give you an IV. I am terrified to hell. I'm shaking. They call it the gray day because you're recovering. I basically stayed in my bed the whole day. I could not. I truly, one, felt grateful. Two, felt that everything I came to get, I got like 100%. I felt like, okay, I got what I was seeking. I'm cool. I'm done. I do not need nothing else. There's still one more treatment. I was not going to do it. I was just absolutely not. After that, that felt like death. 100%. It feels like you died. I was in so much pain. Nervous system was shocked. Mentally, I was drained. I just wanted to go home. I could not get off the bed. The headache got pretty bad. You can't sleep. You're still having traumas of all that. You're still going through your head like, oh my God, what just happened? You're still trying to make up of all the stuff that you saw. You're still trying to make sense of everything. And yeah, I was pretty much out. And it wasn't until the next day, Thursday, that I was able to get up a little and start getting some food in my system. But I was just, if one thing I could tell you just off the bat, off of the Ibogaine experience, because everybody had a complete different experience, and I believe I had the worst one. It all depends on how you show up, what you have in there. Obviously, me throwing up the whole 12 hours was obviously a lot of stuff that I had packed in there, a lot of shit that, that I had to get out. But it's going to make you appreciate a lot of things. I will say that. It's going to make you appreciate life. It's going to make you appreciate God for sure. It's going to make you realize that we put our body through certain things that, we shouldn't. Addiction, drinking, drugs, etc. Our bodies are so perfect when we are born, and we screw that up based on what society expects us to do, what we feel is going to make us feel better, what we think is a good time, pleasure, temporary pleasures. And man, your body goes through so much BS, and it goes on overdrive to try to protect you and to help you. And we definitely take that for granted. And I think that Ibogaine is one of those medicines that's going to make you realize that, and definitely make you feel the importance of life, health, and why you should 100% take care of yourself, man. I mean, I'm still traumatized. I don't ever want to do that again. Although I'll highly suggest it, I personally do not want to do that again. I can see why maybe people in addiction don't ever want to do it again, because after that experience, I'm pretty sure you don't want to go through that again. So when I finally was able to get food, we had a debrief about the experience of how that was, everything. Shout out to Zach. I told Zach, dude, I just need to get a walk outside. I need the sun. I need something. So, he took me outside, and that helped me tremendously just to get the sun and to be appreciative, man, of the elements, sun, air, water. I mean, to breathe outside, to hear people talking, to see kids playing, to see cars moving. I mean, I can't even explain it. I was just beyond, just present and grateful for that. And I wanted to hug my kids so bad. I was just like, wow, like this whole time I have had all the answers I want in front of me. And I have failed to realize that through other stuff that I've been putting myself through. And, God makes no mistakes. God does put us through certain situations in life, obstacles and all that. But there's no to say that there's no out of it. I think we make it worse by the certain decisions that we make based on those circumstances. And that's always been the tough part. So I was not going to do anything else. I was telling Zach that, our next medicine is the 5-MeO DMT. And I'll give you guys a breakdown of what that is. So 5-MeO DMT is 5-methoxy-N-N-dimethyltryptamine, might have screwed that up, is an extremely potent, and when I say potent, this thing is potent, psychedelic tryptamine found in several plants and in venom of the buffo, arborist, Colorado River toad. It acts primarily as a powerful serotonin 5-HT1A and 5-HT2A receptor against producing rapid dissolution of ego and perception. Now, I was terrified to do this, and mostly because I had done no homework on it. All my homework had been done on Ibogaine. In fact, I did not know about 5-MeO DMT until just a week before, or maybe 2 weeks before I headed down to Mexico. So everything I had done was about Ibogaine, and I had no idea about 5-MeO DMT. So everything that I thought I knew about Ibogaine clearly ended up being a different experience for me that I had not, did not have a pleasant one. So you can just imagine how terrified I was into this. And Mark and Zach had a conversation with me prior, a couple hours before we went into, the debrief before the 5-MeO, and they said, hey, look, there's no pressure. 5-MeO is going to talk to you, and it's going to tell you, hey, you're ready or you're not ready. At the end of the day, you have to make the decision. And that's when Zach brought up the whole point that I mentioned earlier. Hey, well, either, if you do it and it goes bad and you get the headaches, well, you already went through a whole day of headaches and you made it. You're perfectly fine now, so you know what that feels. If it's amazing and great, well, then it's amazing and great. And if for some reason you don't do it, then again, you're always going to be with the what if. And so I decided to do it, and I said, I'll go first. I was 100% terrified. A few hours after that, we prepared for the 5-MeO DMT medicine. And the way 5-MeO is done is it comes on a synthetic form, just because obviously if we went outside and actually got the toad, the frog, and did that, you might get so much other stuff that could come with it. So this is the most cleanest form to do it, safest. And so there's medical staff. There was a nurse next to me. There was Mark, who was the one providing the medicine. And then you still have an EMT, and you have 2 doctors on set while you're doing this. And so it is smoke vaporized through a specific pipe. It's a process. They burn it. Once it starts vaporizing, you put it through your mouth and you start inhaling slowly. Hold it. Then you take 2 deep ones, and then they'll start counting you down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, boom. By the time you're 1, you are done. And you run an exercise prior to doing this, by the way. So we're doing this, and my nervous system is just off the roof now. I'm really I'm just scared shitless. So finally the time comes, you go get your pillow. I'm up there. Everybody's encouraging me like, JP, you're good. You got this. I'm scared as hell. I'm not gonna lie. I was, even to the point where I sat down on the mattress to do the medicine, it was bad. Thankfully, the medical staff was being very supportive. Everybody, they asked me one more time, are you sure you want to go through this? And I said, yeah, let's do this. At that point, guys, I went all the way to that. I feel like I got 80% of what I wanted with Ibogaine, with the exception of that experience and the insane sickness afterwards. But I figured, hey man, if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna go all out. Let's do it. 5-MeO DMT. Wow. It was the best experience ever. We took the medicine in. There's a saying that says that when you take the medicine, depending on how your body reacts, you're gonna shoot up. And shoot up, interpreted in different ways. And the way it was told to us is you're gonna shoot up as high as you can, and you're gonna get to this zone where it's such an amazing bliss that you should feel it all over your body, brain, soul. I mean, it's basically called, the element of God or something like that, right? Because it's so powerful that your soul technically leaves your body. And let's just say that I shot way the fuck up there. Like if there's a high, I went even higher than that. And I don't mean high in a high, from smoking or stuff like that. I mean high like direct to heaven, the universe. You're going far high as you can get up there. But I got there fast. And the first thing that I saw once my head hit the pillow was this sort of like, geometry of different shapes moving, but in a white, clear, pinkish sort of color. And it was so beautiful. And it moves up, and then out of nowhere, it's like, bam, you're in this amazing, I swear it's heaven. I mean, I got there and I felt this pain of not deserving. And I felt like I had to let that go. And I just felt like screaming so loud, but with passion. And when I did that, I felt like I screamed so loud that the whole world must have heard me. I let everything out. I felt it in my tips of my fingers, everything. One thing, when I first shot up, I literally saw my body. I saw my body in the pillow, laying down as I went up, and I felt like I was flying. It's like if you ever seen The Fifth Element, when the girl like lays down and you see that the beam shoot up. I mean, that's exactly like how I felt. I shot up. I was that beam. I did an image of it and I'll put it up, and it's like you're shot that way. And I go up there and I get there, and it's just this feeling, and I'm up there, and you cannot explain it. It's this amazing. A lot of people use that bliss feeling. I think it's beyond bliss. There's just no words that can describe what it is when you get up there. But what I will tell you right now is that there is a God, and we have something so special within us that when you fully let go and you accept what it is that God has for you, you will feel it to your core. And that's the feeling that I felt. And in order for me to feel that, I had to let so much bullshit out. And I screamed and I cried so hard that once I was done, it's like I felt a touch, kind of like it's just thinking about it gives me goosebumps again. I mean, I still feel it in my chest. I don't think there is nothing like that ever. They say that 2 times you're ever gonna have that feeling is when you're born and when you die. What I've been researching now, the minute you scream and you cry the way you do when you have that feeling, it's because it's the spark of life. I feel that I died in Ibogaine, and that 5-DMT brought me back to life. That was my new life. That was my new reset, restart, kind of like that jump start, because it felt that way. I mean, wow. It was spectacular, unbelievable. And the amount of gratefulness that I got after that, the amount of just love, the amount of, wow, it's just, man, I don't think nothing can face me ever again. That was, man, there's just no words to really fully describe that feeling, aside of the fact that being reborn, life, and just, I don't even think gratefulness is even enough. It really isn't for what that was. It's beyond that. There's so much more out there than what we know that is scary, but also should tell us that, man, we are so blessed. We are so blessed of what we have, the stuff that God has provided, the life, the air, the what we breathe, what we see, the smell, what we eat, and man, it's just, we are fucked up in so many other ways that we don't realize that our problems are really insignificant. You know, some of the shit we are dealing with is really insignificant compared to other stuff. And that just the fact that we wake up and we live in this amazing paradise of blessing that we truly have is just remarkable. And if I left, I know that the JP that showed up to that treatment last week is not the same JP today. And I am 100% okay with that. There's so many stuff that has changed. There's so many things that I feel personally. And I'm excited to see where this goes. I am so excited. I am so thankful for the vets community, for Ambio, for Trevor, for Mark, for Zach, for the group of guys that went through this with me. I mean, those are my brothers, man. I don't think you could ever describe an experience like that in anything else, and say that you went through some crazy ass stuff like that with a group of men that not only have been through crazy stuff before, but then you put them through this. But I know that everybody got something out of that. And although it might not have seemed at the moment for some that what they went there to get was given, the medicine is still working. The medicine is still back there, and it's gonna flourish and fulfill shortly, and you will see it. And that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this. And this is the next big thing. And I'm so pumped. I'm excited to see where this goes and how other veterans could utilize this to not only better themselves, but to give new life, give new meaning, start a new chapter, because it 100% is possible. So yeah, what a roller coaster ride, and what an ending to this episode. But I couldn't have been more excited. And you know, I was trying to figure out what would be the perfect setting for this and the perfect way to present this, but I realized there really isn't, because a lot of it is words and feelings that I cannot explain, guys. It's freaking remarkable, and life just feels much better. Definitely. Life is definitely much better. Much love, guys. Appreciate you guys always, and can't wait to share more with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, let me know below if you have ever done something like this, if you're considering trying it. What are your thoughts? What would be some of the questions that you have that you would like me to answer? And remember, man, enjoy life, keep living, keep living. Be true to yourself. Do what you love now. Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow's not promised. And at the end of the day, guys, life is not the same if you're doing something that you're not passionate about. So stay passionate. Let's go.